All right, everybody, welcome back to Death by Dynasty. We're going to be talking about some old head running backs here, some OGs, some absolute OGs right now. Some running backs at the end of their career, maybe. But
some may say washed. I don't know if I'd agree with that completely, but we'll get into it.
Hey, like some may still have value. Some may still have value, and that's how we're going to help you out. Help you with your fantasy squad real quickly here. Obviously, we're talking fantasy football all the time on this podcast with entertainment as well. Entertainment, analysis. If you love football, if you're hyped for the football season, go subscribe to this podcast. And if you don't love football, if you actually hate football, then I guess don't subscribe. I don't know what to tell you.
It takes 2 seconds. Just click the button. It's free. Just hit it. We appreciate it.
Fantasy football merchandise. We got our Death by Dynasty merchandise. Find that in the description below. There's some shirts that say draft dominance, trade master, all that type of shit. Show up to draft night wearing your fantasy football merchandise in the link. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, throw us a follow on there. Give us a rating on there. We appreciate it. But anyways, as we were saying, free agent running backs, some of them no longer free agent running backs. We're talking about the big four. They've really been a big topic of conversation all off season. Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, and maybe less of a conversation, Leonard Fournette. But just overall, I was kind of having this conversation today. Okay, so I guess, well, first of all, we'll just say Dalvin Cook just signed earlier this week, or I guess late last week, with the Jets, $6 million, something like that. And then Ezekiel Elliott just signed with the Patriots as well. So I guess that's where we'll start. Tyler, what are your notes? What do you got to say about Dalvin Cook and him signing with the Jets there?
Yeah, so Dalvin Cook's an interesting one because out of all of them, he's performed at the highest level by far the last few years. I mean, Dalvin Cook's had 1,100 yards and at least 6 touchdowns in the last 4 years. But I'm going to start off with saying that, but there is a huge but in all of that. Not trying to be funny there. His average yards per carry has decreased each of the last 3 years. And he's and last year he was also the 4th highest opportunity share out of any running back. And that's just going to change. So yes, the last 4 years he's performed at a very elite level, but the fact that he's going into an offense where for a fact, unless someone gets injured, that he's not going to get anywhere close to that same number. His yards per attempt is going down. So you can't expect with age that's going to happen. So I'm going to expect that to at least stay around there, if not go down a little bit. As well as the first 6 weeks of the Jets schedule is so tough that even if Breece Hall isn't at 100% to start the year, he's not going to earn any opportunity there. He's going against the Bills, Cowboys, Pats, Chiefs, Broncos, and Philly. And those are just a handful of tough running defenses that I wouldn't want him to go against. So I know in a past episode, I said that he would not hurt Dalvin Cook would not hurt Breece Hall's value, but that Dalvin Cook did not have much value on the Jets. I think I said it in the last episode, the mock draft. I'm going to correct part of that. I think it does hurt Breece Hall's value actually quite a bit. But I still think Dalvin Cook he's right now RB30. I think there's safer options around that RB30 range that I would go with.
Yeah, Breece Hall still is what he is. Like, from a dynasty standpoint, I don't think Breece Hall's value changes too much because after this year, he'll be the lead back. Breece Hall is still an extremely talented running back who's on trajectory to have a great NFL career. But for this season, Dalvin Cook on the team does slightly hurt Breece Hall's value. For me, it's slightly. I think Dalvin Cook comes in as that pass catcher. And I think Breece Hall still, especially later in the season, is going to be more of the clear RB1. But like, Breece Hall could start slow, and they might be cautious with him just to save him after his injury. anyways. So yeah, Dalvin Cook. And the other thing, when you look at Dalvin Cook, he signed a contract, I think worth I'm looking at it now, the AP worth up to 8.6 million, I think 6 million guaranteed. Like that's not chump change. Like
He's
they're
gonna get
paying him.
used.
Yeah, he's gonna get used on that team. So yeah, and that's and like the Jets have brought in a lot of veterans like that they plan to use. So yeah, I don't think that's anything to scoff at. I think it's going to be a 1A, 1B situation, and maybe Breece Hall towards the end of the year starts to get some more usage. But again, coming off that injury. Yeah. And also, for some reason, I thought that Zeke's efficiency was better last year, which it wasn't. But Zeke did.
He has scored so many touchdowns.
Yeah, he did score 12 touchdowns last year because it's funny. Like, I guess I'm having this conversation today, like from a fantasy standpoint, out of those 4 running backs that we're talking about today, like Dalvin Cook is number 1. He's still number 1, but I don't know. Like Zeke's right there with him for me. Like Zeke is still going to have a lot of opportunities to score touchdowns. Like I think he's going to be that third down back. I think he's going to get those goal line touches on the Patriots as well. So I guess unless you have anything else to say, like about Dalvin Cook, basically moral of the story with Dalvin Cook is I don't think he's a starter on a fantasy football team, and I would love to still have Breece Hall on my team. Breece Hall's value does drop a little bit. Dalvin Cook, he has some value as a bench. He should be on your bench. He should not be starting in your lineup on fantasy football, basically.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. Do you have something?
I'll say I was just going to go on to Zeke.
All right, yeah. So yeah, Zeke now with the Patriots. And guys, go look at our channel. We did a top 10 dynasty running backs. Rhamondre Stevenson was in our top 10. He was our number 10, I guess, right? He was our number 10 dynasty running back. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not going to change that right now. But Zeke comes in there and maybe takes away some of those carries.
So I actually don't think he will at all. I think Zeke's going to have an atrocious year this year. And I don't think it hurts Rhamondre Stevenson much, if at all. So going back to last year, Zeke performed really well, especially at the end of the seasons. So much of it came from touchdowns, like you mentioned, but he had the lowest yards of his career. The other thing too is just with what the Patriots do in the red zone, the opportunities that they have in the red zone, and also the line that they have there. Last year, Rhamondre Stevenson had 19 attempts inside the 10-yard line, and for the team as a whole, they threw 26 times within the 10-yard line, and they rushed 25 times. So that's telling me, number one, that they don't need to run within the 10-yard line. That's not necessarily their game plan. And the second thing is that they don't mind using Rhamondre Stevenson down there within the goal line. Now the Cowboys, very different offense. So we can see where this value is coming from last year. Cowboys rushed 38 times within the 10-yard line and passed 35 times. So I was interested to see how they were both about 50-50, but 38 compared to 25 is a significant change of opportunity, especially when he's not even guaranteed to have all of those carries. And with all that to say, the Patriots offensive line is nothing compared to the Cowboys line. I think he is a Rhamondre Stevenson handcuff at best.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because like Rhamondre Stevenson is already an amazing pass catcher. Like where Dalvin Cook or even like we're gonna talk about Kareem Hunt like could come on a team and become the guy who can do some different things out of the backfield, who can catch the ball. Well, they already have that guy in Rhamondre Stevenson. I think he had like 88 receptions last year or something crazy like that. So it's not like Zeke is going to be taking too many of those receptions, even though Zeke has had like a good record of being a pass catcher in his career. But I mean, yeah, I think he just comes in as like an RB2, like nothing too crazy where he's going to be a big part of that offense. But I do think he's an RB2. I do think that he gets some touchdowns. I do think he's not a bad, RB3, RB4 to have on your team. Maybe more so RB4. But like, yeah, I don't think Rhamondre Stevenson is the clear-cut RB1 there. Whereas we said that Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall could be somewhat of a 1A, 1B situation.
Now, the thing, too, is like he's not going to get 12 touchdowns. And so if he's not going to have the opportunity to put that many points, he's not getting the yards. So as if it's not like a Jamal Williams situation or even his own situation last year, it's not going to happen. And I just don't see that in the Patriots. So
And Zeke got the touches last year too. He led the Cowboys in touches. So
yeah, but I'm staying away from Zeke. If you have him, I'm trying to pawn him off now while people might think that he does have value. Dalvin Cook, I'm holding on to. I would hold on. If Dalvin Cook, I'm waiting and seeing. Zeke, I'm trying to get rid of right now.
I could see Dalvin Cook having, like we said, Breece Hall could start out slow. I could see Dalvin Cook being a decent part of that offense week 1, week 2, then trade him, then try to go get some draft capital for him. Even a second round pick for Dalvin Cook, I think, would be great at that point. With Zeke, if you could get a third right now, because there's always a little bit more hype when they sign somewhere. Now he's not a free agent anymore. He's on a team. Maybe you could go get a third for him right now. But his value is going to, all of these guys, really, their value is only going to decrease. I mean, it's that point, they're 27, 28 years old. They're already have begun to decline. We saw it with Dalvin Cook. His efficiency has gone down over the last 2 seasons. So their fantasy value is going down. It's only going to go down from here. But with Cook, maybe he looks good in those first 2 games.
The next 2, I think, have no value, each of them.
I just traded Kareem Hunt essentially for a third. 2025 third.
Let me clarify. Some people value them. To me, there's not a trade you could offer me to where I would want them on my team. Kareem Hunt, I think, is one of the most overrated players over the last 5 years in general. He's had under 1,000 yards every single year besides his rookie year when he kind of took off. He's a horrible fit in New Orleans if that's where he ends up going. I just don't see it. Once Kamara comes back, he could get cut. And then it's slightly better in Indy, but still in that situation, I don't see him getting anything meaningful when he was in a great situation that he's known the offense for many years and was not even performing as well as people made it to come out to be when he was even on the Browns. So he's someone who I think is pretty much shot at this point. Plus the fact that he has not signed somewhere at this point should be a little concerning.
Yeah, so we've seen him visit with the Colts, I believe. He's visited with the Vikings and the Saints. I think all 3 of those teams have interest. My guess is he's going to land on one of those teams. If I had to rank the order of that, I would say the Vikings would be his best value. I would say the Saints would be the second best value. But the only reason the Colts would sign him, is if Jonathan Taylor isn't coming back. So if Jonathan Taylor is really sitting out for the season, then maybe he does have some more value there as well. Also,
he's the 2 there. He's the 2 there for sure if he goes there. If he goes to the Saints, he's arguably RB4.
Yeah, that's fair. So if he goes to the Saints, the situation would be he acts as the pass catching back until Kamara comes back, and then he's worthless, basically.
He could get cut after that.
Yeah, that's what the situation would be. It would be bring him in for those 3 games while Kamara is suspended. And speaking of suspensions, Kareem Hunt, I'm going to show a funny picture of me back when I covered the Browns, of me looking like, I didn't mean to look like this, but it kind of looks like I'm like disgusted when I'm in the media scrum with Kareem Hunt. And this was like right after he came back from his suspension. And I was like, and in my mind, I kind of was like, fuck this guy. Like, so I'm gonna show that on right now. You guys will see that. But yeah, I mean, Kareem Hunt, his second year with Cleveland, was a top 10 fantasy running back. Last year, he started out the season being used the same way that Cleveland had been using him in the past, getting double-digit touches every single game, and his efficiency just wasn't there. And you saw his usage just absolutely drop. The Browns just did not use him very much at all in the second half of the season. Clearly, that's because they saw that he was just not the same Kareem Hunt, because he was talented to start his career. You know, you get suspended, go to jail, whatever happened to him, I don't freaking know. Probably didn't go to jail, but I mean, seriously, you lose time as a running back, and that could screw up your whole career. I think he was like a great NFL back with Cleveland for those first couple of years, but his efficiency is just not there. Again, no matter where he goes, he would be brought in as a guy who can be a pass catcher. That's what I feel like he would be used as mostly. So again, would never be an RB1 ever again. Hasn't been an RB1 since his rookie season. So really his value just isn't there anymore. Kareem Hunt, yeah, I just traded him for a 2025 third. Basically, me and Gallo just swapped our players back that we traded earlier in the offseason. Because you know what? Sometimes you're just waiting for football. You just need to feel something, man. You just need to feel something. You just need to see a trade go through. But yeah, I guess I technically got a 2025 third, sort of, in a way, out of him. So
I wonder if that's ever happened in the NFL, two teams trading the same players for each other. I won't even say in the same off season, just in general. Have they ever traded the exact same players back and forth like that? I bet it hasn't.
You're like, we actually both value the other player.
We both made a mistake. Bring him back. All right, Leonard Fournette. Now
career over. Fournette, career over.
I was gonna say, I said Kareem Hunt had no value. I really mean Leonard Fournette has no value. He went to the Patriots and worked out for them before, and they signed Zeke. So take that information for what you will. He was obviously not as impressive as Zeke. Maybe he's asking for more money. I really can't believe it. I haven't really even heard a rumor of teams bringing him in outside of that.
No, I don't think he's talked to anybody.
And he hasn't even been good in general. He lost his job to Rashad White when that was not supposed to happen that soon. And he was unplayable last year, so I don't know why going to a new team is going to make that.
I wouldn't say he was even unplayable last year, but the only reason he actually did finish the season as an RB2 is because of like those short check down passes that Tom Brady loved to throw to him, and that's it. Like his rushing ability was awful, dude. His efficiency was awful. He really did not get many touches towards the end of the season. The only reason that he was any good was because he caught 73 passes last year for 500 yards. That's the only reason, which is insane. No other team is going to pass the ball to him that much ever. And he never really did that in his career, I don't think, before that point. I guess he did. I guess he actually did. But Tom Brady just loved those little check down passes to him. His actual efficiency as an actual running back is awful. He's not there anymore. His career is over in that sense. But if a team brings him in for depth or something, I don't think he's even an RB2 on a team.
I think he'll be on every waiver wire by week 4.
Yeah. We'll see if he even signs. Injuries happen, but yeah, unlikely. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we got to say about Leonard Fournette. Basically, don't roster him. You will not be able to trade him. You will not be able to trade him. If you do, good for you.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a league where you can go out there and get like a 3rd or 4th for him, which is unreal. But out of all the players who just signed, really the only one that I would even changes anything for me in fantasy is Dalvin Cook. Outside of that, like, I don't think Zeke really does much for me. Outside of me just knowing for sure I wouldn't want Zeke on my team. If Zeke went back to the Cowboys, I would actually be like, there's some value there. He's going to get used if he went back to the Cowboys.
Yeah, we thought he might, but landing on the Patriots, I don't know. That's good. Yeah, Dalvin Cook is the only one who might have something left in the tank. I could see him kind of having a bounce back year, but that's about it.
He wasn't even bad. I think last year he had like 1,500 yards.
Yeah, he did. He did, and because he got the touches. The thing is, Dalvin Cook will not get as many touches this year that he did last year. He just won't.
Nowhere near. That's a fact.
I guess we should.
And he's coming off surgery too.
I guess really quickly, I don't know if we really said this. Alexander Mattison, if Kareem Hunt does go to the Vikings, I'm already out on Alexander Mattison, although he is a starting running back currently in the NFL. But if Kareem Hunt were to go to the Vikings, like, I do not want Alexander Mattison on my team, like, because Kareem Hunt still will take away some of his fantasy value and I don't think he even has that much to begin with. So
I don't know. I like Madison's efficiency, like the amount his yards per carry. He's gonna perform, and I think the Vikings are committed to him and kind of handed him the reins. So
Ty Chandler looked really good so far this all season.
Kareem Hunt he doesn't really change me. No matter where he goes, it's more like if you have him on your team, just try to get rid of him when he does something. When he has a highlight at training camp, get rid of him.
Yeah, and as far as like Kendre Miller goes, again, it's kind of the same thing. Like Kendre Miller is what he is. He's a rookie running back right now who isn't a starter. Eventually,
he just got hurt too, didn't he?
I think he's healthy again, possibly. But
I never get the training camp injuries because they'll be like, "Oh, injury, missed 2 days of practice." I'm like, I don't need to know that. Just don't even update me until it's a game.
Yeah, I think like it's one of those things where if you have a young running back who you're waiting on, Ty Chandler, Kendre Miller, like you're waiting on those guys. Put them on your taxi squad or your bench or whatever. They will be whatever they will be in a couple of years. It's not like they're losing value in their rookie year when they're not a starter to begin with anyways.
I feel like that like weeks like 10 through like when the playoffs happen in fantasy, like 10 through 14, 15. That's when you really see the like not star rookie running backs really like Rashad White is who I'm thinking of in my head, Isaiah Pacheco, where they really start getting the opportunities and then they take control of the offense.
Yeah, 100%. So that's that on running backs. By the way, we did get some good traction on our last mock draft, which was a dynasty startup draft. Yes, I know I had one team highlighted for most of the draft, but you know what? You live and you learn. Regardless, a lot of good information down there. People are really liking that. So go look at that video. Go look at our top 10 dynasty running back videos. If you just saw us talk about some washed running backs, if you want to see us talk about like some league winning and future running backs, go look at our top 10 dynasty running backs. And of course, we got a lot of entertainment content, especially in our YouTube shorts. We talked to Michael Rubin. We talked to Gary V. We asked the people, what did we ask the people? I don't know. We asked them what their favorite form of potato was. That was something.
We had them draft a team for us. Who else out there is doing that?
Team. Random. We did a fantasy draft where we had random people pick every single pick for us, different person. So yeah, go hit that subscribe button. Go follow us on all social medias. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And until then, we'll catch you next time. Peace out.